Welcome back to In Behalf of Animals. I'm Nicole Arcello. What if the talents you already have could help liberate animals? Today's episode is a reminder that activism is different for everyone. Whether you're an artist, a writer, an organizer, or someone who simply shows up, every skill can be used to amplify the animals' voices. Today I'm chatting with artist Lisa Goldberg, whose work shows how creativity can become a powerful tool for animal liberation, reaching hearts in ways words sometimes can't. So today, while listening, your task is to think about your special talents. What are you really good at? It could be something big or small. You don't need to be an expert, a full-time activist, or have a massive platform to make a difference for animals. The skills you already have, creativity, compassion, your voice, all matter in this movement. Let's get to it. Here's my conversation with Lisa Goldberg. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to In Behalf of Animals.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you.
I'm so excited that you're here with me today. You are the first artist, I think, that we have on our show, and I'm so excited about that. Your artwork is inspirational. It's always for a cause. There's so much I want to talk to you about today. But we start with a lot of our guests asking, what is your vegan story?
Of course. Well, so I would say my vegan story began as I've heard a lot of people say, when I was a young child and didn't want to eat food that looked like an animal. So I
Yeah.
remember really clearly, I wouldn't eat chicken wings or
Mhm.
drumsticks with the bones still in and spare
Yeah.
ribs. I thought, why would a cow have a spare rib?
Right.
Like
Right.
nothing about it made sense. It wasn't when I think about it, I sometimes think, well, so that was one phase, but that wasn't a phase. That was
Mm.
like being clear-eyed about what's really happening and what's,
Yeah.
not wanting to eat animals like so
Yeah.
many children are. But of course, or in my case, and as with most people, I
Mm.
got brainwashed or, I
Mhm.
started following what people do and just started eating animals. And I guess
Yeah.
so for over the years, in my teens, in my 20s, actually throughout all the years, I was sometimes vegetarian, I was sometimes pescatarian.
Mhm.
I loved animals and I just sort of felt like, well, I don't really want to eat them. But
Yeah.
I was through all of that, I bought into the myth of the happy farm and didn't
Mhm.
really think that they were suffering for me or anyone else to be eating them. I just sometimes didn't feel like it and I'd flip back and forth. So, fast forward to 7 years ago, which is
Mhm.
so recent. Wish it was longer ago, but my then 14-year-old daughter actually, who was she was 14 and she was doing on the internet a lot, and she
Yeah.
was looking at, I don't know, dieting or something, and she fell
Yeah.
into a rabbit hole
Wow.
all about animal agriculture and kind of all at once learned everything about animal agriculture, and
That's
she
awesome.
told me what she was learning.
Yeah.
It was just like I
Wow.
too was sort of all at once just stunned into being awake. Yeah, so she went vegan overnight. I immediately stopped eating whatever animals I was still eating at that point, which I
Yeah.
was eating meat at that point, and,
Yeah.
I was lactose intolerant, so giving up dairy was easy.
Yeah.
Eggs took me a little longer to understand, like, what's really wrong if I go buy eggs at a farm where I can see
Right.
happy looking chickens running around but I got there too eventually. I found, pretty quickly Jonathan Safran Foer's book, Eating Animals, and read
Mhm.
that, and so anyway, within
Yeah.
several weeks, I was vegan too, and just was so awake suddenly to everything. That's how it happened.
Wow. I love that story so much. It's so different. That's why I love their vegan story. Whatever vegan we come across, Patrick and I always ask their vegan story even before the podcast because it's so interesting. And wow, there's like so much I want to talk about with your vegan story, but having a 14-year-old find that's really uplifting for me because the internet is a huge tool, right? And we're always hoping. And, you and I both do activism on social media and on the internet, and it's so great. But to have a young person find that on their own and find that path and go down that rabbit hole and not shut it off and go to the next thing and have, the ADHD of that's built into internet and social media and whatever, and just move on. That's really great. And I always am saying that I feel like so many of us are in the animal rights world are kind of aging out, we need new young people. So that really makes me feel really great to hear your story.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's true.
yeah, and with your history and have a mom, a lot of times we knew a young man a couple of years ago who just came into the group, and his mom was like very worried about him being vegan, and sometimes you see that, family members. So, but you had this history of always being, uncomfortable with it. And I had a woman I worked with reminded me of this, that her daughter would say, chicken, I'm not eating a chicken. Fish, I'm not eating a fish, and I'm vegan. And she's telling me this, and I'm going, you shouldn't make her do it. And she goes, but what is she going to eat? She has to. And I was like, she's telling you what you should know. And she's 5, and it's like,
It's
but
like it's
then,
so clear at that time, it's just clear, but
yeah.
we think, "Ah, they're going through a phase," or, before
Mhm.
before we realize that we
Yeah.
were blinded.
And so it was that's really interesting. I love that. So you're an artist. So I'm sure your art precedes your veganism. Is that right?
It does, yes.
So on your website, your work is described as animal artivism. You went vegan. When did you start incorporating animals or in animal rights into your art?
Well, so really, really soon after I went vegan, because as you said, the art
Mm.
preceded the veganism. I mean,
Yeah.
my mom and my aunt who I was close to were artists, and so I grew up like making art with them when I was little, and just
Yeah.
making art was always sort of part of what I did, more
Yeah.
more or less at different times over the years. Um, yeah, actually, when my daughter was little, I was reintroduced to picture books through reading them to her.
Mhm.
I got, like, really interested in the art of picture books,
Oh, that's great.
and when as she got older and, like, aged out of wanting to take picture
Yeah.
books out of the library, I just
Right.
kept taking them out. I was just taking them out for me.
Yeah.
So, and eventually I decided to take, like, an online course about illustrating and also writing picture books,
Yeah.
and so during that time, I was drawing more and doing kind of more, inspired by that,
Mhm.
which kind of then turned into art of just be doing art, different kinds of art more, incorporating that more into my life. So I was
Yeah.
in that phase, and having taken the course about doing picture book art, and actually I have illustrated a couple of picture books,
Mhm.
not on animal themes, but so, as an illustrator, you're encouraged to post artwork on social media.
Yeah.
So I had already started a few years before going vegan doing that.
Mhm.
Just posting different kinds of artwork on Instagram mostly. And when I became vegan, when I did, I started listening to podcasts like crazy and
Yeah.
reading everything I could get my hands on, and listening
Right.
to a lot of podcasts, and just being horrified by the new information that was just so
Yeah.
shocking to me. Like, every
Right.
day I was listening to something, hearing something, learning something that was just,
Mhm.
like, blowing my mind, and
Mhm.
so, when I hear these things, and when I heard these things, and when I
Mm.
first heard from my daughter these things, I went vegan. So I thought, well, if
Yeah.
I tell people about this, I mean, as you and I know,
Yeah.
we both thought, and so many people think, then
Yeah, yeah.
everybody will go vegan. Everyone I tell will go vegan. Everyone
Right.
I so I started, yeah, so it was just, I was making the art, I was learning this, I wanted to get the word out, so I started making art about the animals and
Yeah.
doing artwork and writing a little bit of information and posting it and
Yeah.
little bite-sized bits, and that's how it started, and of course, not everybody does go vegan when they when they hear
Right.
these things, but,
But
I
we
can't
plant
control
seeds,
that.
right?
We plant seeds, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just
it's
see
so
what I can do.
important. Yeah. It's so important, and to take something that was already such a big part of you and incorporate this new lifestyle, this new world you just opened yourself up to into that. That's so awesome. So when you sit down to create a new piece, I love your pieces. First of all, I have a sheep and a cow that
Mm.
I won at an auction at an animal sanctuary that I bid on. And
Love
those are
that.
your pieces. And
Yeah.
also I
Sanctuary.
have at, Woodstock Animal
Mm.
Sanctuary. Yes, I believe it's Woodstock Animal Sanctuary, right?
Yeah,
And,
that makes sense.
yes, okay. So, I have 2 of them in my office. You can't well, nobody could we can see each other, but nobody else can, but you can't see them because they're on a different wall. And also, we asked you to, last year, and we repeated it again this year, and this podcast might go out a little too late for people to order, but they'll still be on our website, I'm sure, the holiday card for horse racing rogs. We gave you some inspiration. Halos was a horse that our followers helped rescue off the track. When you sit down to create a new piece of art, you can tell us what different kinds of art that you do, but do you start with the message? Do you start with the animal? Do you start with an animal rights issue? What's your inspiration when you sit down?
Varies, it definitely varies,
Mm,
with that piece that you're talking about, the horses,
mm,
Halos, and her friend.
yeah.
Um, yeah, with that, I mean, I knew that was gonna be horses, and I
Hmm.
knew that it was gonna somehow try to be wintry, for the
Hmm.
holidays, and, I knew she was a white horse, and,
Hmm.
um, but, like, a lot of times and so, I mean, just in answer to your question,
Yeah.
sometimes I do just start with an image and
Right.
just paint from that. I in the case of that card and a lot of my other work, sometimes what I like to do is to start a piece by just kind of doing abstract mark making
Hmm.
on watercolor paper or canvas, and really just being playful. And sometimes I write, sometimes I just sort of free write things that I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
love that.
yeah, or quotes that
Hmm.
I find meaningful to do with
Yeah.
the piece that I'm gonna be making, if I know even what it is,
Mhm.
or just playing around with materials and collage and, inks and watercolors that flow and I can't control, things like that. So sometimes I might start that way and then kind of look for shapes in an abstract
Mhm.
piece, kind of like looking for shapes in clouds, and I'll often
Yeah.
see animals when I look for shapes in clouds
Oh,
or
that's great.
in work, so sometimes
Yeah.
things happen that way, or sometimes it'll be something else and, maybe
Yeah.
the animal comes in later or doesn't. And sometimes I'll start that way because it helps me to loosen up and I find
Mhm.
it fun and I like to have layers and kind of I just feel like it, is reflective of the complexity of life to have kind of a lot of
Mhm.
layers and things that went before that you can't quite tell what they are, and there's kind of a mystery
Yeah.
to things like there is, in life. And
Yeah.
so with the horses, I had your photos of the horses, and so with that, I
Yeah.
just started playing around with drawing from those pictures on top of the abstract play,
Mhm.
and it just evolved from there.
Yeah. They're big, 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 big hits. We repeated them again this year because they were highly requested that we
Oh, I
that we
love
make
that.
them available again, and we love them so much. This past year, you were asked to design posters for the Animal Rights March in New York City. Did you choose to make? What was your inspiration?
Well, yeah, so Rachel, one of the organizers of the march,
Yeah.
reached out to me, and, at first, she asked me if I would do 3 designs of any animals that I wanted to do,
Oh,
and
that's
so I
awesome.
I started out with that, and
Mhm.
I decided on a cow, a pig,
Mhm.
and an elephant, and those were
Great.
all paintings I had already done,
Okay.
and so I designed posters around them and
Mhm.
chose quotes to put on the posters.
Yeah.
I picked those because, like, in the case of the cow, I just feel like maybe it's just me, but I just find their eyes to be really soulful, and I feel like if you really
Yeah.
look into a cow's eyes and face,
Mm.
that you can kind of connect
Yeah.
them to your beloved
Yeah.
companion animals
Yes.
easily, and so that was why I picked a cow. The pig, I feel like I've just met so many people who are averse to pigs, who just don't
Mhm.
like pigs and think that they're
Yeah.
dirty and unappealing,
Yep.
and so I wanted to
Yeah.
counter that point of view and,
Yeah.
you know,
And I think pigs' eyes are just like a human eye.
they're the most
It's
human,
they
right?
are the yeah, they have their eyes look like ours, and that's
Yeah.
just like it kills me so much that people can't see that people don't
Yeah.
have the opportunity to see how much love
Yeah.
they have, but I'm sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, no, no, so
Yeah.
that was, that's why I picked the pig.
Yeah.
And the elephant, I just feel like, well, I wanted to do, an animal in entertainment, and,
Yeah.
feel like just like almost everybody loves elephants, and
Yes.
it just
True.
escapes people's notice that
Mhm.
they're suffering to
Right.
entertainment, to be in zoos, to be in
Yeah.
circuses, to especially to be in zoos though. I mean, it's like just escaping everyone's notice that that's a
Right.
problem, or to give elephant rides,
Awful.
in
Mhm.
Thailand, which I went on an elephant ride years ago in
Mm.
Thailand. It escaped my notice, I
Yeah.
hate to say, but so that was the
Mhm.
first 3, and then having done those, Rachel then came back and asked if I would do one for fur,
Oh,
and
awesome.
I did a mink. So then I did 2 new paintings. One was a mink for fur, because they're the animals who are farmed in the greatest numbers, at least in this country, for
Mhm.
fur, and, then Ryder, the horse, the carriage horse, who
In New York
died
City.
a
Mhm.
couple of years ago,
Mhm.
collapsed on the streets and died, and,
Yeah.
inspired the proposed law, Ryder's Law, which has not passed the city council at all. This hopefully with the new administration coming in, the new
Yeah.
city council, the new mayor, but,
It's very
there's just
disappointing.
been such e
Mhm.
efforts to get this law, just to have a hearing, this
I
Ryder's
know.
Law, which would phase out horse carriages, which are
Right.
so cruel here in New York City, and, almost 80% of the public supports the law. The
Yeah.
outgoing mayor, Eric Adams, now supports the law. The incoming mayor, Mandami, supports the law.
Yeah.
A lot of city council members, I think more than 20 now, have signed on to support the law.
Right.
And the Central Park Conservancy, which makes the rules for the park and supposedly knows the most about what's safe and good for the park,
Yeah.
supports the law. And it's corruption, and our
Yeah.
city council speaker being in this terrible
Yeah.
relationship with the union that represents the carriage owners, the
Yeah.
horse and carriage owners, that actually, recently there was, something that is apparently never done, where, instead of calling a hearing
Mhm.
to vote on the law, a a vote was called for the city council members, not all the city council members, just I think the health committee, just a certain group of them, to
Right.
come in and vote on whether to have a hearing for the law, and that group was, a self-selected group who wasn't gonna support having the hearing and didn't, so then it
Right.
just killed the whole thing for the time being. It's just
It's awful.
it's awful, it's
It's
maddening.
awful, and it's been a long fight in New York City.
Long fight from before it was ever called Writer's Law. It was
Yeah.
already,
Yeah. It's been a really, really long fight to get these horses off the street. So that's I love that. So what was it I'm glad that writer was incorporated into, the march in that way. I couldn't make it down for the march this year. But so what was it like seeing your art carried through the streets?
it was great. It was really gratifying
Yeah.
to see them, like, out in the wild.
Yes. Right. I love that. Out my vegan art out in the wild. I love that.
And I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of, there were so many really great homemade posters and other
Yeah.
posters also in the market.
Yeah.
Just like such a big group of people, and out
Yeah.
on the street, and so loud and so passionate, and
Mhm.
it was amazing to see my
Yeah.
posters there, and
Yeah,
and
that's
just really
awesome.
gratifying because that's, I make the art hopefully to be seen. Just
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to get it seen. So,
Yeah, definitely.
that was great.
Yeah, I love that. And it's something to be proud of. I think that, as we go through our activism, um, there's so many opportunities that come up, and it's all about, um, and I hate saying hard work, but it's just it's a long game, right? Animal rights, and we're always talking about that. Like it takes time to make change. I mean, look, there's still horse carriages in the streets in New York City, and they're getting banned in other places, but it's a long fight. And I think it's just staying consistent and always putting that message out and not giving up, and look, there's more that you've done recently that I want to talk about. And I think it's so great and really incorporating your art. I think there's a lot of artists out there that I come across that are vegan and I think they're not sure what to do. And I think that they do post and I really think you can be an inspiration to them because I think they post and then they didn't get enough likes or but it's not about that. It's just continually being out there, and then these opportunities arise, like, okay, now you have your signs at the march, and those signs will be back next year, I'm sure, because someone's gonna keep them and they're gonna keep using them, and that's so awesome. And is there a piece of your art that's close to your heart, one that feels the most powerful to you, the one that you wanna show the world every day, or just something that's your favorite piece?
I think that there are different ones that I feel are like more powerful than others.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, I think that pieces in which I've incorporated words in right into the
Mhm.
artwork, like at
Yeah.
a glance, you kind of
Mhm.
you get it all at
I
once. The
I
words.
think both of the ones I have. And I can't see them. They're too far
They're for
away for me to tell you what's
I
on them.
know
I
what
should
you
have
mean
looked.
by the sheep. I know the sheep
Yes.
is the one with the George Harrison,
Yes. I knew one was George Harrison, but I couldn't
yeah,
remember
and the other one
which
is
one.
probably the cow that says "Live and let live," maybe and then eat plants. I'm not sure.
It
Or
could
no,
be.
maybe it's the other is it the dairy cows
The
that
dairy cow, yes.
Oh, right,
It is,
okay,
yeah.
so I love that quote. See, that's one of
Yeah.
my favorite quotes, like, you give up nothing by going vegan, you just stop
Yeah.
taking what was never yours to take."
Yeah.
So I
I
just feel
love
like
that.
some of these quotes are so powerful, and to put it with an image just really
Mhm.
amplifies the power of the quote, and the
Yeah.
quote amplifies the power of the image, so, I mean, a lot of times I do art that doesn't have a text in it, but
Yeah.
probably as far as an act of artivism, I think
Mhm.
those are the most powerful. I guess maybe it's because, I don't think it's because it's the most recent thing of this kind, but I think I don't know. Right now, I would say in
Yeah.
answer to that question that last month in November was prior to November when the call was put out, but there was a
Mm.
call put out by Judson Memorial Church for artists to submit artworks that interrogate the symbol of the American flag as a
Oh,
symbol of
yes, I
liberty
saw
and
this.
justice. So when a friend of mine, who is a little bit connected to Judson Church,
Mm.
forwarded the call to me because I never would have seen that.
Mhm.
I just thought, "Oh, that's nice of her to forward me that," but that's like flags are not really my wheelhouse, so I
Right.
haven't even for that. Um, but it was in advance, so, like, about
Yeah.
a week later, the idea popped into my head of
Yeah.
the flag as a transport truck transporting animals to
Yes.
slaughter,
I love
and
that.
I just was like, "Oh, well, I could try that. I could try doing that." So I did, and I submitted it, and I had this painting in this show, which so this show was,
Mhm.
the 55th anniversary of the People's Flag Show, which there have not been 55 of them, there have been 2. There was one in 1970, and then there was one this year,
Oh,
and,
okay.
it was like, a time of a lot of social upheaval and a
Mhm.
lot of, rights being challenged and ignored back
Right.
then, and here we are again.
Here we are again.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
so it was interesting because it wasn't an animal rights show at all. I didn't
Yeah.
It was the only animal rights piece, and I
I love
definitely
that.
wondered, "Ooh, am I not gonna get a good reception?" Because sometimes I think when people are really suffering and so many human rights are being
Yeah.
denied and ignored, and people are going through hell, that sometimes people think, well, this isn't really the time to focus on animals. We have
Right.
so much bad stuff going on for people.
Mhm.
Um, and, and from what I saw, I mean, I was there at the opening, and when I went to pick up my painting at the end of the week that the show was up, I
Yeah.
heard from the curator, the person who was in charge of it, that it got a good reception, and I seemed to get a good
Oh,
reception
that's
when I was
awesome.
there. So that
Yeah.
wasn't what happened. So I was glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And
I
it was
love that.
just an opportunity to have this
Yeah.
piece in a setting where it was being seen by people who are not vegan or not rights
Yes.
people necessarily. Maybe some of them were, but,
Right. I
so
love
that
that.
felt like, oh, it went into a setting where people are actually seeing it who aren't already on
Yes.
board. So,
And you're very brave to do that because I think that it could be like, uh, like what if they throw this out? Because
yeah, I
like you
know. It was
say, a lot of
yeah.
people, and I think it is a struggle right now with there are a lot of human things going on, human causes. And part of the reason why we do this podcast is to inspire people to be activists all the time, no matter what's going on, because the animals are still suffering. Still, they still need us, and we need to keep going. And that's a perfect example of that is to be, like, oh, people might not, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
And that's a
yeah.
transport truck. That was huge. That was not like picture of a cow with, something about dairy. That was really bold. And we will put it on our Substack companion piece that goes along with so everyone can see it and on our website too. So people can go and look at Lisa's art with links, and I think people can buy your art too, and we can talk about that at the end. But and thinking about the pieces I have, and with the words on them, and it's really great for vegan animal rights people to have these on their walls at home. So when people come over, and you have I'm going to move these to my dining room now. I just decided because I said, this would be good for our family to walk in and they know we're vegan, but they forget why sometimes. After you're vegan for a long time, we talk about this a lot, they forget why you're vegan. They think, oh, yeah, this is a vegan one, or they just eat healthy or whatever. And it's like having one of these pieces on, the dining room wall, and they're looking at this and they're like, oh, yeah, they're vegan because of the animals. So that's,
Yeah.
it's like your activism turning into other people's activism. And, that's what's so beautiful about any kind of art, whether you write or you're an artist and you're drawing or painting, and it just keeps going. It's just like this, it's alive, and that's why I
Yeah,
love art so
like
much.
that's right. It's like a conversation starter. That's
Yeah.
actually, I had somebody on, like a week before Thanksgiving reach out to me, because as you said, I do sell prints of my work for the shop on my website, and
Yeah.
she had just ordered a particular piece, and she was
Mhm.
hosting Thanksgiving, and she wanted that piece to get there for Thanksgiving. Particular piece is one that has been popular. It's, a chicken whose wings are around
Oh,
all of the
yes.
chicks,
Like,
and so the words
yes.
on
I
that
love
are,
that
"This is
one.
what chicken wings are really for."
Yes.
So, yeah, that's another
We'll
one
showcase that on our Substack 'cause
I'll
it's a
put
great
that one
one.
too,
It's a
yeah.
great one too.
But I love
I
that
love
what
that.
you said, she was like, "I want that to be in my dining room when my guests are here for
Yes.
Thanksgiving." So, I was like,
Yes.
"Oh,
So
that's nice."
so they can
Cool.
be educated
Yes.
subliminally or not so subliminally. So on your website, we'll talk about it now so we don't forget. So on your website, what is your website? I'll put it in the show notes, but
Yeah, my website is lisagoldbergillustration.com.
okay, we'll put that in the show notes too so people can link to that. And then you sell prints, and they come from a third party.
They come
Yeah.
from a printer called Imprint, and yeah,
Yeah. We do that too with Horse Racing Wrongs. We have a third party. It's a lot easier than handling a lot of merchandise and
I
keeping
don't know how I would do
without
that.
space, right? So, and then, so people can order prints there, different sizes, all of your different artwork is there.
There are, and I
And,
actually recently, that's not so recent,
mm,
I should have it more together than but I did switch from one third party to this Imprint, which is better, and,
oh, good.
I need to put some more of my art up there, but
Yeah.
there's stuff there now, but
Yeah.
more coming.
Yes, that's good. You always have a lot going on. And you use your art on social media, and I think that's how I probably met you, even this first time we've seen each other face to face, but through social media,
Yeah.
and you post your art in correspondence with whatever's happening. So sometimes you'll have, around Triple Crown races, I'll see, you tag horse racing wrongs and you do a beautiful summary and you do these beautiful captions and
Well, like you said, I mean, it's sort of in response to whatever's happening, but there's always so much happening,
there
so
is.
it's like whatever happened to catch my
Yeah.
attention that I just and more things than I can address are always
Yeah.
my all of our attention, but yeah, so I'll decide on
Yeah.
something and,
It's well-researched captions too, and
yeah.
they're long and all the information's there and you tag organizations and I love that
Yeah.
so much. It's
Yeah,
so
sometimes it's to highlight an organization like Horse Race
yeah.
that does so much and where you can go find out more from that
Yeah.
organization and support the organization. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
that or sometimes just, to share still like I did in the beginning, just, share some information about what happens to animals that people are unaware of so often or
So what advice would you give to other artists? If someone's an artist and they vegan, animal rights activist, do you have any advice how they can start
start.
incorporating it into their work? Start yeah. Just
I
start.
yeah, I mean, I because, I mean, with anything creative,
Mm,
you kind of just have to just start and maybe I
yeah.
mean, and any I mean, with anything anything creative, whether it's
Yeah.
like arts or like what you guys do, just figuring out
Yeah.
how to
Just in
creatively
using your talents, right?
yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of have to go by trial and error
Mhm.
because, you don't know what's gonna work or what's gonna work for you to do or make and what you're gonna feel motivated to keep
Yeah.
making or doing, and
Yeah, yeah.
you kind of just have to start somewhere and see
I th
what happens.
I think it's great, like, using whatever talent you have. If you're good at editing videos, then, you know, if you can't make them, then, volunteer somewhere, to edit videos or something like that, or whatever talent you have, use it. And I think that, artists have so much to give.
But I want one
Yeah.
other thing that I would just say about that,
Yeah.
about, eh, is it you kind of alluded to this before, but
Mm.
just that you kind of have to just ignore how many likes you get or
Yes, I love
what
that.
'cause
Yes.
I don't know. A lot of times I feel like I get completely not seen or ignored, or maybe people just don't
Yeah.
like or whatever it is. I never really know what's gonna bring a
Yeah.
strike a chord
Algorithms
with people.
sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, to focus on what you're doing and
Yes.
let the response go.
Right. Yeah, just keep going because yeah, consistency is the most important thing, I think, and just believing in what you do. And thanks for saying that because I think a lot of people start out by, they post a video or they post a picture or they post some of their art and then they just stop because they're like, "Oh, no one sees it." And but I find the more consistent you are, that's when, the more people see things and then opportunities arise. Like you're making, posters for the Animal Rights March. so,
Yeah, right.
so
No, and
that's
right, because it could be, like, maybe just, like, 5 people see something, and one of them is somebody that wants to, use it for cards or use it for
yeah,
shirts or use it for or
right.
post them or have these
Yeah.
posters for the march, yeah.
Yeah, and then it really gets out there and
Yeah.
inspires people, and I think that's great. What gives you hope or keeps you inspired to keep creating for animals even when this work feels emotionally heavy?
Well,
I mean, art is
um,
a great outlet, so
yeah, I mean, art yeah, like, yeah, and I get super stuck, actually. I think
Mhm.
a lot of creative people that I know struggle with creative block and
Yeah.
just getting stuck, and, so, yeah, it's different things, but, I mean, one thing I would say is that, you know, the animal this doesn't address the when things get really heavy, and I
Mhm.
will, but,
Yeah, yeah.
the animals kind of can help me get through creative block in the sense that
Mhm.
part of creative block is often a perfectionist tendency, And when
Yeah.
it comes to the
Mhm.
animals who are suffering every minute of every day, there's
Right.
no time for trying to be perfect or for it to be
Yes.
about me and whether what I'm posting is
Mhm.
exactly how I want it to look. It's just like,
Yeah.
get the message out, just get it out there,
Exactly. Yeah.
whatever it is. Um, but then, yeah, I mean, sometimes, when things get really hard, I mean, certainly just the community of vegans and
Mhm.
of people doing amazing things like you and Patrick
Yeah.
and, like, just, the people that I know through some different channels, like
Mhm.
podcasts and organizations. I'm
Yeah.
part of a vegan artist collective. It's an international
I
artist
love that.
collective called the Art of Compassion
Yes,
Collective.
I wanted you to talk about
So
that too.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I'll talk about that, but
Yeah.
so I just so what keeps me
Yeah,
is
yeah.
sometimes just, the getting myself back into a place where people are talking my
Mhm.
language or
Yes.
like
Yeah.
recognizing what's happening and wanting to
Yeah.
do something about it and, because it can just be especially hard when, people who, I have many, many dear friends who aren't
Mm.
vegan, who are some of the most wonderful people that I know in the world, but for some
Yeah.
reason on this one issue, they're just it's not totally clicking.
Yeah.
So
That's hard.
that it can yeah, so just
Mhm.
to return to where,
Right.
um,
Go find
where
your
people
people,
are.
right?
Yeah,
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 go find your people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and
And
I guess I was gonna say, I said that just sometimes just doing art for just making stuff. It's like
yeah.
it's just starting on a bunch of canvases or papers
Yeah.
with abstract or doing a lot of writing. Writing can be really therapeutic, and I
Yeah.
write underneath my painting. So those kinds of
Oh, I
things.
like that too. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what I like what you said about, the perfectionist stuff. And I think a lot of people with anything that they're doing in advocacy are so worried about how they're going to look. How are they going to look to other people? How are they going to be perceived by other people? Or, artists would be, the perfectionism thing. And then when you even picking up a phone and calling, a legislator, they're so worried they're going to not say the right thing and they're scared. And, what if they yell at me or whatever the the issue is, but when you remind yourself, like you said, that it's for the animals and that they're suffering and we're working to end the suffering, it kind of all that kind of goes away, right? So it's
Right.
like, my daughter actually asked me this the other day. I have my purse has tons of pins on it. And it has go vegan and it has stop animal testing and it has the fur with the line through it. And I can't remember, I don't have it with me. I have I don't know, like 12 pins on it. And she said, "How do you have the confidence to wear that?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "What if someone says something?" I said, "First of all, what are they going to say?" And I said, I have the confidence because first of all, I don't have the confidence all the time. Like if I'm in the grocery store and, I'm not ready for a conversation, but then I tell myself, you know, I have to speak for the animals. If this person is like, "Oh, I could never go vegan," what am I going to say to that? So that kind of a thing, just always remember. So I like how you said that. And so, okay, tell me about this collaborative. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah, the
I
Art
forgot
of
what it's called
Compassion
already.
Project.
Yes,
Yeah, it's,
Art of Compassion Project.
yeah, it's a international group of artists,
Yeah.
and was formed projects that we do are organized by Lee Sanders, a woman who lives outside of Barcelona in Spain.
Mhm.
People are all over the world.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and so she and a few other members who organize with her organize a number of projects every year, and she puts a call out for whatever they're looking for. It might be
Mhm.
for there's an annual calendar that comes out. We've done like oracle cards that have animals on
Oh,
them,
wow.
and like a bit of wisdom that's sort of has a connection to each animal on the back that are really
Oh,
fun.
that's so
They're great.
cool.
I love these oracle
Yeah.
cards. You pick one for each day, and it's like
Yeah.
your sort of mantra for the day. And so there's lots of different projects. There's recipe books and different things. And each project has an organization, either a nonprofit, always a nonprofit organization, but it might be
Mm.
a sanctuary, or it might be Veganuary, or it might be, different organizations that do different things on behalf of animals
Oh, that's
that
cool.
all profits from the sale of whatever this project is goes to. Um, and there are we haven't had there's a lot of people in the UK, artists in the UK who bring art prints, which we also, will donate our art to be printed for these like
Yeah.
veg fests and things to put up a booth with
Oh,
art and
cool.
sell art, in aid of whatever
Right.
organization or sanctuary it's in aid of that time.
Oh, I like that.
I would love for that to happen here. There aren't as many
Yeah.
artists in the US as in the UK that are part of the collective, but there are some. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, maybe some new ones will listen today and
yeah.
and they'll get in touch.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely, because
Yeah.
everybody is, welcome. So I can
Yeah.
definitely connect anybody who's interested with Lee uh,
Yeah.
to get involved. But yeah, so that's what it is, and it's just it's a wonderful group of people making art for animals.
Yeah. That's great. And more of being around your own people. And
Yeah.
it's like, and these are art people and animal people. So that's great. And that's another reason for our podcast too, is just to give people a place to go, to listen, to be like, hey, these are my people. And I can tune the rest of the world out for an hour and a half or whatever, and just be around my people and be inspired by each other. And so what's next? So what do you have going? Oh, there's Free Happy campaign.
3 days from now.
Oh my
3 days
goodness.
from Yeah, so, the Save Art Space is an organization, if for people who don't know that, it's a nonprofit organization that saves billboard space and bus shelter poster spaces for art exhibits. So they'll have, like a month at a time, typically, I think, an art exhibit, and
Yeah.
it's in cities around the country, and it's on all different themes. Sometimes there are different calls put out, and I didn't know much about it until this
Yeah.
Free Happy campaign came along, which has been funded and curated by Cynthia von Bueller, who is an artist herself and an activist and an artivist. So she put
Yeah.
out a call for elephant art, and it's all to be part of this Free Happy Save Art Space exhibition on billboards around New York City.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, yeah, so I submitted for that. I've submitted a few pieces, and one of
Yeah.
my was accepted. So
Yay.
mine is one of 6 billboards
Oh,
that's going to
awesome.
be up with elephant art and with the hashtag Free Happy campaign around,
Yeah.
in Queens and the Bronx and Brooklyn, starting December 5th and running through the end of December. What it's all about is the
Yeah.
Free Happy campaign, which goes back long before this particular
Yeah.
edition. It's about Happy, an elephant at the Bronx Zoo,
Right.
who has been imprisoned at the Bronx Zoo for almost 50 years. And the Non-Human Rights Project, the past many years, I can't remember how many of those 50, she's been alone,
Yeah.
isolated. Elephants are highly social,
Mhm.
intelligent, emotional beings, and, they suffer horribly being in zoos where they can't walk the hundreds of miles that
Yeah.
elephants need and naturally do
Right.
walk in their native habitat. And, they're in their herd, they're live with their families for years and years. They're very,
It's so
they grieve
heartbreaking.
when their family members die. They are
Yeah.
very emotional and intelligent beings.
Yeah.
And to be completely isolated is just
So cruel.
absolutely heartbreaking and
Yeah.
unconscionable. And so the Non-Human Rights Project, which is the only civil rights organization in the US, or maybe in the world, in the US,
Yeah.
to focus solely on animal rights, has been,
Yeah.
you know, has had a legal battle going on behalf of Happy for a long time now, as well as on behalf of
Years.
other elephants held in
Yeah.
US zoos. So this is an awareness raising campaign
That's great.
to help help raise awareness about their cause.
Yeah.
They're another great organization to support and just,
Hmm.
learn about their work and support
Yeah.
if if people can. But it's just it's just astonishing again when, just
Mhm.
everything is astonishing when you really stop and think about
Yeah.
what this being is going through,
It's
and then
awful.
multiplied by the billions and the trillions, and
Right.
like, what are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing? This is simple. It's
It
easy.
is,
It's
isn't it?
wrong. Oh, it's wrong. Let's stop
It's
doing this.
it's
There's
so
a
it's
sanctuary ready to take her. Let's send
I
her there.
know. It's awful. They were here in Albany a few years ago. Patrick and I went and Ellen went down to the rally before the court case because I think it was a court of appeals they were going to argue for Happy, and it's just so heartbreaking, and they lost, obviously, but it's still ongoing, and I'm so happy. These are the things that keep us going because now this is happening for Happy, and it's the long game, and, it's not being dropped, is you have to just keep going, and it's the only way we're going to, end animal suffering. It's the only way we're going to is just keep going and going, and it's hard, but but we have
Right,
to do that.
right, right. It's hard, but then when, like, as you said, when you're, like,
Yeah.
focusing on your people, the people who are also
Right.
choosing to keep fighting that fight and,
Yeah.
step by step, do one more thing, the next great
Yeah.
thing, then yeah.
Yeah. And what a great time of year to have those billboards up because, people are traveling to New York City like crazy right now, right? In December, and people are going to see that. And that's just amazing. I love that so much. I'm so excited. Your art is in there.
Go make a trip up to Astoria, Queens, because that's where mine's gonna be.
Oh, great. And you're gonna take pictures and
Yeah,
post it and then
yeah.
and get it out there to thousands and thousands of people, more people.
Mhm.
So anything else coming up?
In New Mexico. So my husband is from New Mexico, and last winter, at between Christmas to New Year's, we always
Mhm.
spend in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And outside of Albuquerque, there's a sanctuary called Santuario de Coruna, which is like a magical, magical place. If anyone is visiting Albuquerque, to go to this little
Oh, great.
sanctuary, it's such a beautiful spot. And going to New Mexico in the winter, the roads can be impassable to get there. So for a number of years running, we just couldn't get there. We're trying to go with my 90-year-old
Yeah.
mother-in-law, and
Oh, wow.
it wasn't going to happen. But last year it
Mhm.
happened. The roads
Oh,
were
great.
passable and we got there. And anyway, so since then, I have on occasion, I took pictures of the animals when I was there, and occasionally I post um, drawings and paintings of
Mhm.
the animals from there, and so a couple of times they've picked up on a drawing once and a painting more recently, and turned them into put them on shirts and
Oh,
cards.
that's
So, yeah, so they had until very recently, they had 2 donkeys there, Hondo and Isabel,
mhm.
and I had done a little painting of Hondo and Isabel a couple months ago, and just it so happened that Isabel very shortly after that passed away,
Mm.
and so that little painting that had been posted recently before that,
Mhm.
it became something that they wanted to use for a
Oh,
little,
that's
like,
great.
project
Yeah.
in memory of her. So their holiday fundraiser is this upcoming Saturday or
Mhm.
Sunday in Albuquerque. They are Santuario de Coruna. So
Mhm.
if anyone's out there, you can
We'll stick
look
that in
them
the
up.
show notes.
Yeah. And it's gonna be in town, the fundraiser, and among the different things that have been contributed for that are shirts that they've,
Oh, that's great.
printed up with these little painting of
Oh,
the donkeys and some greeting cards too, so
that's great. And I'm sure the people running the sanctuary and their supporters are so grateful to
yeah.
have that so they can
Yeah, well, yeah, I
remember.
mean, I
Yeah.
think they are, and I mean, I'm just so grateful of them and
Mm.
sanctuary people who
Yes. It's
do
hard
the work
work.
that they do. It's
Yeah.
such a lot of work and
It's
so important, and
hard work and heartbreaking work and
yeah,
important work. Yeah.
and with such potential to, connect people to
Mhm.
farmed animals and see
I
them in a
know.
different way.
Yeah, it's hard. You live in New York City, right?
Yeah.
So, you don't have opportunity to like a lot of us don't have an opportunity to visit these animals and see them up close and personal and see those cow's eyes and see those pig's eyes and look into an eye of a turkey, and it is so important for people to visit sanctuaries and make and have that connection when you're in areas, where you can't do it.
But social media is so good for that too, with all the sanctuaries that,
Oh, and the videos
share
and
the videos, and
yeah.
really you just see what delightful,
Yeah.
lovable, loving beings they are.
Yeah.
They're no different whatsoever than any companion animal you've ever known,
Yeah.
lots of people that you know, and,
Yeah.
it's so clear and it's so,
Do you ever
um
get burned out on social media?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, when I just look and I'm not putting something out there, but
Yeah.
just taking it all in,
Yeah.
it's a
Can be a
journey.
lot.
It
Like
really
right now, the trolls are out like in droves right now around the
what do
holidays.
you mean? Like,
There's trolls that so in the comments on a lot of
oh,
things,
I
but
see
on
what you mean.
my page, they're just, yeah. So the trolls are just out and they're commenting negative. And I think that they come out around the holidays
So
because we're posting so much about, turkeys
okay.
and, um, and it's like, you know what? They're triggered. So let them
Right.
go. Sometimes I'll answer them, like, in this real rational way that they kinda, like, just go away because I just I don't argue with them. They're looking for fights. They're
Right.
looking to burn us out, you know?
Right,
Like, they're
right,
gonna
right,
comment, like, "You're an idiot," or something stupid, or, "I'm gonna go eat my meat," and you're
right,
like so they want us to be like, "Oh, someone was mean to me," and it's just like, let
right.
them go. Delete them off your page. Like, who cares? It's your page. Get
And you're
deleted,
right that, like, the fact that they're doing it means you're getting to them.
That's right.
Yeah, that's so good. That's
Like,
good news.
yeah, what are they doing on my page or your page or whatever because they're
Right.
they're they're triggered, they're upset about it, they're afraid. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
let it go. It's fine. But I do find that
High road.
that's right. That's right. And it's like delete them. Who cares? Like don't let people bother you if they message you or something like that. I'm sure you don't have a lot of that because you have beautiful artwork and I'm sure you don't have a lot of nasty people. So
I
that's
don't
good.
yeah, and I mean, I don't ha once in a while, I have had something, but it's usually if I post about someone who somebody wants to say something bad about, like, I
Oh.
mean, not like, I'll just say, like, I had something about, Renee King Sonnen once in Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, and,
Oh yeah.
she is so big
Yeah.
that there are people, I guess, who are
Oh
waiting
yeah.
for things to be said about them
Ugh.
and wanna so
Yeah, they'll
maybe
be
a couple of other times, but in that context, yeah.
yeah. Or like or PETA or another organization. Sometimes people do stuff like that too, but yeah, I know, it's so
Right,
funny.
right.
Okay, so at the end of our interviews, I like to have, like, some rapid fire questions just for fun. So I like to put people on the spot a little bit. Just don't think just answer, but anyway, they're fun. They're fun questions. So, first one, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This is like my lightning round. Okay. Favorite vegan food? Well, it's always vegan, but favorite food. What's your absolute favorite thing?
It changes all the time. Like, right now, I'm gonna say pumpkin muffins. I have celiac, so, like, really good gluten-free baked goods really get me, so
Yeah,
I say pumpkin muffins, but it'll
pumpkin
change,
muffins.
it's different.
It'll change. So in the like February, it'll be something else,
It'll be
but
something else.
but right now it's pumpkin muffins. I love it. What's your least favorite food?
Well,
The
like you, I don't think of anything with animal products,
Right,
food, so I'm not going there, but
right.
I do
Your least
not I
favorite
don't
vegan food.
yeah,
What do you like
kimchi.
hate?
I don't like sour stuff like kimchi, I don't
Okay, so that's one. Yeah, I like mushrooms. I'm getting better. Like
oh, you don't like mushroom? I love
I'm
mushroom.
well, I'm trying. I'm trying. Patrick in our Thanksgiving episode was like bugging me about it, but getting better. But I still can't do it. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Okay, my husband would say I'm a night owl.
You're up.
I get tired and I stay up through that and I get a second wind and I start doing things and I stay up too late and he doesn't do that and he thinks I'm a night owl. But the truth is that
Yeah,
if I get up in the morning, it's always hard for me to get up, but once I'm up, I'm better in the morning. I'm happy to have the day ahead of me and I'm
yeah.
more productive. So I
So
think
you're a morning person mischaracterized as a night owl. That's
yeah,
okay. There we go. Now we got it. Tea, coffee or tea?
tea.
tea. So do you like tea to wake up in the morning?
Yes, black.
Caffeinated? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big coffee to wake up.
I used to be a coffee addict, but it doesn't agree with my stomach, so
Yeah,
I
it's
had to
tough.
get
I
that
put soy
out of
milk in it to help my stomach, but I love my coffee. Okay, and then the final question is, what is one small action people can do today to help animals?
Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be different for someone who is vegan than someone who's not, or even like someone who's don't
Someone who's do one for each.
one for right.
What
So
someone
okay,
who's not vegan.
for for someone who's not vegan, I want to say watch Dominion. That's what I want because I
Yes.
just keep hearing
Yes.
people say that's the single most thing. I mean, I feel
Mm,
like people who are listening to your podcast
yeah.
who are not vegan are people like people who I know who kind of want to be vegan or want to be
Yeah.
closer to vegan, but they're having trouble getting there
Yeah.
and they're not and they need some help. And I'm so
Yeah.
aware that watching Dominions it seems to universally be said to be the thing that helps
Yeah.
people get there. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't, are like, well, I can't watch something so graphic. And there are some other things that there are a lot of other movies that have a little bit of footage that would be helpful, but not be quite so
Yeah.
graphic, like Vegucated, or
Right.
if you're an athlete, like Game Changers.
Right.
There are other things to watch too. I would say watch something
Right.
with footage to see what's happening to
Yeah,
animals.
keep being curious, keep listening
Yeah,
and watch those videos. And then
yeah.
what if they already are?
And if they are, I feel like it's something you alluded to before
Yeah.
about like the grocery store. It's like it's to like force myself because I can tend to not articulate why I'm vegan or why I'm making
Mhm.
choices that I'm making to not eat something if I'm in a social situation, if I'm not around
Right.
all vegans, I might just do the thing. I'll do the thing, but I won't talk about it or
Right.
open the conversation. But I think I realized, and I was recently hearing somebody talk about this, that sometimes if you if you don't talk about it and if you
Mm.
don't open yourself up to the conversation, that you can start to kind of start losing your own grounding in
Mm.
why you're doing what you're doing. It's not that I would ever stop doing it,
Right.
but feel even less and less confident to
Yeah.
talk about it when it comes up with
Yeah.
something. So if
I think
every
that happens to a lot of people. Yeah, I think it because it's hard to if you're not talking about it all the time, if you're not having those same conversations, if you're shying away from conversations too much, then you're out of practice, I think. But, like we were saying before is find find something you're already good at and use it, use those talents to speak for animals, whenever you can. Find it and, write it down and, you're saying Dominion. When I was vegetarian and then I was, like, having vegan weeks and, vegan days and vegan weeks, and then but I wasn't, 'cause I think in the beginning of the vegan part, people would bake me something or they'd bring me something, and then I'd be like, "Oh, it's probably" well, eggs, I had an egg allergy, so I couldn't have that, but, it probably has dairy in it, so, I don't wanna tell 'em I'm vegan, because it was hard in the beginning, and now I'm like, "Why was I doing that?" But it is hard. So I recognize that. But so what I did is I sat down I don't remember if it was Meet Your Meat or Earthlings. I should probably look up the date of when those came out, but they probably both came out way, way a long time ago, and I made myself sit there and watch it until I totally broke down and was a mess. And then it was like vegan after that and just told everybody, like all my friends, I'm like, "I'm vegan now." And before I couldn't do it. So maybe it was that part of watching that and then knowing I couldn't walk away from that and I couldn't stop being a voice for the animals that gave me that extra courage maybe or maybe it just solidified and then I threw a tattoo on me that said vegan. I did that too. I
I
did
love
that for my
that you
doctor.
what?
I did that I think mostly for my doctor. I said because my doctor was kinda like, when I was going vegan.
Talk you out
And
of
then
it.
I said, I tattooed it on me, so now I'm vegan for life, so you can't do anything about it. But,
Don't even
yeah, that
bother
was, like, the first
trying.
yeah, it's like the first couple things I did, I was like, "I'm gonna watch this video, and then I'm gonna tattoo it on myself, and then I'm never going back," So,
Yeah. I love that you were like,
yeah.
"No, look, I want to do this, but somehow I'm blocked. I can't do it. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna watch this
Yeah. And
stuff."
sometimes you just have to. You have to bear witness. And I think after you're vegan, you don't have to bear witness anymore. After you're there, don't watch the videos. That's going to burn you out. Watching all the sadness, watching all the videos. I still have people that send me videos and I'm like, please don't send me videos because I don't want to watch them. I have to in my job for horse racing wrongs, watch really bad videos sometimes because before we put them out, we have to. But I'm not, if I'm on Facebook scrolling through, I'm not going to stop on a video that has a cow being slaughtered or a dog being slammed on the ground. I'm not going to do that because
No,
that is not healthy for
because it
us.
doesn't serve you anymore. You're gonna do
Right.
your work for the animals
Right. And it'll
no
hurt
matter
my
what.
work. It'll hurt my work, right?
It'll
And
hurt you,
burn us
right?
out.
Because
Yeah.
you'll be down. You'll be
Yeah.
reaping, you'll be
Yeah. So it's good that we're protecting ourselves,
Yeah,
from that.
yeah, I
But
would do it. I would watch if I had a friend who wasn't vegan willing to watch if I watched with them, then I would watch, but,
yeah. Yeah, for support. I think that's a good point is to, if you have the opportunity to watch a documentary with them to get them there, be there for support. It's going to hurt like so bad, but you're going to get them to where they need to be and be there for them and pass the tissues back and forth, and so
yeah.
that's great. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. And what's your kitty's name?
This is Mittens.
Oh, Mittens, you're
Mittens,
so
I have
cute.
Shadow as well, but he's not here.
Oh,
Here are Mittens, she doesn't
Shadow doesn't want to be on TV. But thank you so much for being here and for sharing your work. And like I said, we'll showcase Lisa's work on Substack and we'll have links for everything that we talked about today in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here and inspiring people to share what they love along with their love for animals. So thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me, and thank you for everything that you and Patrick do for the horses and for the animals.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Nicole here from In Behalf of Animals. We hope you love our show as much as you love animals. And if you do, can you take a quick action to help amplify their voices? Simply follow our podcast and write us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you are listening right now. It helps new listeners discover the show to learn more about how they can join our community and help animals too. Thank you for listening, and remember to be their voice every chance you get.